This is Nicole Nowosad, and welcome to another process video by Just Nick. Today's video features the April 2015 Hip Kit Club, and the layout is called Love You, and it's a really simple layout. So let's just get started. Here's the layout that I made, and is really easy and fun one. So let's get to it. Alright, so if you watched my last process video, you would have remembered that I probably scared everyone and told them that I ripped a bunch of photos off my old layouts. And this is another, I'm just re-scrapping another one of those photos. So you can kind of see there, my photo is a little bit ruined in the bottom corner. But no worries, we'll hide that up later. So I'm just starting with some pattern papers from the kit, and the last page I did had a lot of pink and green and girly kind of colors in it, but there's a lot of boyish kind of colors too in there. So I'm just pulling out some of the yellows and the grays in the kit. And then I'm going to add in some pops of almost like a mint green. There's a little bit of it in this watercolor effect on this paper here. It's hard to tell in the lighting, but there's a little bit of a greenish kind of tinge to it. So I'm going to bring more of that in with this green arrow paper. It's really fun. A lot of these papers I use are the Amy Tangerine papers. There's a few of the Webster's Pages strips in there too, but for the most part I just stuck to this color palette. So whatever I could find in the kit that had these colors is what I used. And I apologize ahead of time that this layout part is actually off to one side, but really that's where most of the layout is, and my cutter gets a lot of work in this video, so you'll see that. Okay, so I'm just kind of staggering up the strips of paper. I kind of know my photo is gonna go on the left side of my page there, and then they have the right side kind of pretty open. And I'm just kind of playing around with the initial kind of strips and how I want that to work. And I'm just trying to make sure I don't have too much of one color in one area, and that if any of the words I have showing kind of make a little bit of sense. So this is actually a photo of my son. He is now 12. This was when he was 5. And this is the first day he got his glasses. He has a problem with his eye. He has a scarred cornea from when he was a baby. And so now he has to wear glasses for the rest of his life, obviously. And you know, it's kind of hard to tell. Your kid can't really see that great. I mean, he can see fine, but they say that his vision in that eye, that one side of his one eye, is that he can only see a stop sign he's about 7 feet away. So if that tells you kind of how bad his eyesight is in that eye. But anyway, so unfortunately for a couple of years we didn't realize it was that bad, and then I guess just before kindergarten we took him for an eye test, and then we found out, yeah, he needs glasses. So we got that done before he went to kindergarten, and of course right now he's 12 and he doesn't really like wearing them, but he really needs them, so it is what it is, right? And you can kind of see here I'm adding in, I really like that note to self kind of sticker, and it has like a bit of a red tone, which is good because I wanted to add in another kind of color, because I mean, I like the green and the gray and the yellow, but it's kind of a little bit boring, to be honest. So I'm going to start adding in a little bit of the orange and maybe the red too. And there's a cute heart sticker in the Amy Tangerine die cut pack that I like, and so I'm going to kind of add some touches of the red later on. But I think the red adds a nice little pop. So I decided that red would be great if the watercolors were that color. And it turns out that my sample I did last time was this kind of that same kind of red washed out color. So I just kind of scribbled the red, and there's an orange watercolor pencil in the color add-on. And I kind of created my own combination paint, I guess you can say it. I just scribbled on my craft mat and added some drops of water. And you can see there I'm just using one of those Heidi Swapp watercolor cards, and I'm just kind of painting on the, there I am mixing the orange and the red together just to get it a little bit more orange, because I found the red was just too much of red. It wasn't the right to match up with that heart die cut, the right shade. So I'm just kind of playing around with it, and I learned my lesson from last time where I didn't let things dry and I tried to add color. And so you can see here I actually let it dry. I actually used my heat gun and then added in some more of the pencil crayon to color it in. And just before I switched to this, you might have seen me dab the watercolor paper into my extra paint on my craft mat, and that was kind of a nice effect, so I really like that, so I'll do that again. And I think Irit does that quite a bit on her projects, which looks super awesome. She's so talented with that kind of thing. So Just going to highlight a couple circles with the different pencils here and just add a little tiny bit of water to them. And I think this time I learned well enough alone last video to leave it be. And I kind of like how it turns out with the little touch of orangey red there. I like how that looks. So now that's my photo mat. So I'm just going to add my old photo here to my photo mat. And then I do want to cover up that corner that's kind of botched. So I just have this scrap of green triangle paper and a little bit of gray. I'm just going to tuck that in and stitch around that photo corner I made. And that covers my oopsie. So there's no embellishment. There's always an embellishment opportunity. So that's just one of them. It actually kind of works out good because I made the top part of the paper strips heavier, so down in the bottom there it needed more paper anyway, so it worked out. Alright, so of course I will pop dot my photo, and what I didn't say in my last video is when I went through my layouts and I ripped off the photos, maybe I mentioned this before, but anyway, the only photos that were really sticking actually, the ones that had pop dots behind them, so that's just pretty interesting that, you know, most of the other ones I was easily able to grab off. So there's that heart die cut I talked about earlier, which is where I kind of mixed the orange and red paint together to make the color. And then I thought about adding in one of these little cards from the die cut set, but it doesn't make it in the end. I'm really bad with journaling. I know that's a terrible thing to say, but I do. I'm not fantastic at it, so I prefer hidden journaling if I'm gonna write a bit of a story about a photo, which I guess I should for this one. It's his first set of glasses and all that, but I'm sure I'll scrapbook this photo again because I do like it. But instead I decide to use one of the chipboard frames which says "Remember This" on it, and I'm just going to put it on my page. And actually in the end what happens is I decide to cover it up with some vellum, and I add in some sorry, there's my head, and I add this in, I add some vellum because I'm going to put my title over top of this. So I like this color yellow though. It's kind of a nice pretty golden orangey kind of yellow, which is kind of fun. Alright, so I'm going to stick my photo down. I did some stitching there on those strips. I don't know if I showed that or not, but there's some, you can see there in this shot that there's some stitching. That's just, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I can't even do a page without stitching. I know it's pretty pathetic, but that's just what it is. So I take that smile little square there and I leave it, and then I end up taking it off. And I like the number 5 there. It kind of goes with the colors from crepe paper. So, and then the yay sticker and then the heart. But it's that smile that throws me off because it's brown and nothing else is really brownish on the page. So I think I end up removing it later. And I've tried to make some of these words work. And then this is where I go to the crepe paper chipboard, and I really like that U. It's kind of perfect for this photo of him. This is Noah. So this is where I kind of decide, yeah, I'm going to grab a leftover scrap of vellum here. I end up cutting it just a little bit bigger than my chipboard frame, and I'm going to just actually sew the whole thing together there and then add my title. So you can kind of still see the paper underneath it, and so that's kind of good. Then I get this brainwave that, oh, I'm going to tuck some sequins underneath this vellum because this just proves that I don't ever plan ahead, and end up doing some of the mint green kind of sequins as well as some of the larger almost flower or seal type shapes, and it's hard to see in the video, but you can see them on the actual page. And then I add my title just to that now. And what else did I do? Oh yes, I actually used some of these American Crafts stickers too. I like these ones with the silver foil versus gold. It's kind of fun, and I like the whimsical font with the O kind of filled in. And I'm just going to kind of add a few other little embellishments here and around. I end up adding, I know I use silver foil alphas, but I end up using some of the gold foil thickers and just a couple little die cuts I tuck in here and there. I like these chipboard pieces because they have a bunch of cute little sentiments on them. They just make it super easy to embellish your page. And then I decide I really want a little bit more of that red color, and truthfully all I really have is that watercolor pencil. So right now I'm just going to add a couple standard droplets as normal. And this time I'm just using Heidi Swapp Black Color Shine. I find it gives a nice thin light tap mist. And Then I'm going to end up going in and adding some more of that red watercolor after I get all this droplet business done, into that kind of strip area on my page. So I really didn't do anything on the right-hand side of the page. I did everything on the left, but it does need a little bit more red. So once I get done fiddling with all this, that's what I'm going to end up doing. And, oh, these epoxies, I'm going to use a gold heart up there in a few areas. And I'm almost done this page. This one was actually a really, really quick one versus last week's video. I liked the page, but oh my heavens, that was just like, took forever to get that watercolor paper to work out. And you can see I obviously learned my lesson, so I guess that's the good thing. So yeah, I'm going to pop this epoxy there so it matches all the same level. And I think I'm pretty much done. I just need to add that watercolor paint. Where the heck? Oh, I'm doing some sequins. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, those little sequins are always good for instead of epoxy dots. If you know, I use mini glue dots. I know some people use liquid glue to stick them on, but truth be told, every time I do that, I just use a Tombow, like a clear Tombow, but it always seems to fall off. I don't know, maybe I have an old glue or something, but I find these are mini glue dots. Oh, I can't speak today. And they hold really, really well. I haven't had any fall off that have been put on with them. So just going to mix up now that paint with my watercolor pencils with this is the orange and the red color again. And just mix it up on my craft mat and add a little bit of water. And then actually use my water pen, even though I dip it in water. Because I like the pen holding thing. It's easier for me than the brush. For some reason, I feel like I have a better control of the paint. And I'm just going to add little bits of that reddish orange in amongst my strips of the page here. Just kind of all the way up around those things. And then I'm going to tap a few tiny bits of the extra just as little droplets around the outside of my strip area to kind of finish off the watercolor effect of my page. And I'm really enjoying the watercolors, even though I'm not artsy. I think they're super awesome. I'm so glad I picked up that color add-on this month. That was definitely worth it. And yeah, here's a couple close-ups of my page. Just some of the different embellishments. And I don't know if you can see all the sequins in that pocket, but they are there. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and I'll be back soon with another layout for hip kits. Have yourself a great day. And if you want more layout ideas, just visit my blog at justnix.blogspot.com. See you later.